Hey there, it's Geekas. How you doing? Hey, so I wanted to talk a little bit tonight about a subject that everybody can probably relate, and that's getting angry. Um, I want to just kind of break down the fundamental facts about anger. Right? So, why do people get angry? Why do I get angry? What is this? What I've come to understand is anger. First of all, it only happens up there. Up there can turn into like a bunch of outbursts. But really, anger only happens in our imagination. It happens in our thoughts. It happens when our thoughts about something. But our thoughts about something is literally just an imagination thing that's only happening in our heads first, right? So that's what it is. But then the question comes up, okay, well, what causes that, right? Because there's a million things I can point at that say, well, that makes me angry. That makes me angry. They shouldn't do that, right? But what is that anger actually but um, a conflict in my head, right? So here's what I said. There's reality. Reality is anything I can point at. Right? Reality is the truth. Truth is that car is red. The truth is that light's on. The truth is that pen is closed. That's the truth, right? Um, that's reality. Then there's this my ideas of, my thoughts of, my views of, my perspective of. And that is the story about reality. So there's reality, I can point at, see. And then there's my story about reality. And here's the tricky part. So when my story about reality, when my ideas, perceptions, belief, thoughts, ideas, etc., do not absolutely line up with what I see, with what reality actually is, suddenly there's opposition. Opposition just means this is not saying yes to that. This is saying no, right? That's opposition. When you are opposed, opposed just means in a state of no. The state of yes is, oh, okay. The state of surrender is, oh, all right. Acceptance, okay. Unexpected, but all right. Right? Opposition, no. Anger, no. What I think, selfish, self-centered, self-seeking, self-delusional. All those things they refer to as self. That self is not part of reality out here. That self is walled off in a fictitious place called my head. I say walled off in a fictitious place because it doesn't actually exist. I can point at my head thinking my thoughts happen around here because it seems as though my thoughts happen around this general location. It seems that way. But actually, when I go looking for one, I go to try and grab it. They're not there. I can't grab them. So when I say it's a walled off space, that's a fictitious idea. It's actually make believe. It's actually not real. So the me that I think that I am is actually just this fictitious idea of what I think, of what I like, of what I believe, of my perspective. All these things that I continually believe on a regular basis is what I consider to be me. Since that consideration of what I want and think and need and all that sort of stuff happens around the general location of when I look in the mirror of this particular meat suit, I think this meat suit must be me. But in actuality, since I can't actually grab those thoughts, I've come to realize that those thoughts just happen in the space of, near to this thing, but not like actually inside this thing, just near this thing. What is anger? Anger is simply, there's the truth, and there's my make-believe idea of what the truth should be. And when my make-believe idea of what the truth be and the truth don't line up, there's opposition. That opposition only happens in this imaginary space. Now, when that opposition happens in this imaginary space, things can get loud because I can turn that imaginary space into "Rawr!" And then that turns into things throwing and stuff breaking and whatnot. But in actuality, the actual underlying anger was just simply, as the Buddha puts it, the definition of suffering in Buddhism is the unwillingness to accept things as they are. So things are as they are. If I'm unwilling to accept things as they are, then there's a suffering that happens. And that suffering is just an uncomfortability. It's like a dissatisfaction on the light end. And on the heavy end, it's anger and rage and hate and all that sort of stuff. So, why did I make this little video? Well, I just wanted to sort of point out, I have a friend who's going through a lot of anger right now. I just kind of want to point out that all this anger is just coming from our imagination. It's coming from our world of thinking, our thought life. It's not true. It's not actually true. Because you could be angry at something, and then all of a sudden something makes you funny, and you can totally crack up. Are you angry? Are you laughing? You know, you could be laughing at how fucking angry you are. Are you angry or are you laughing? Is it funny? It's neither. Life is a series of situations. Then I come along, this fake sense of me, this imagined sense of self comes along, and it places a value. I like, I don't like, I am opposed. Ah, welcome. Right? So this thing, this imagined sense of self that is selfish, meaning it wants what it wants. Self-seeking, it wants what it wants in the future. Self-centered, it thinks it's the center of everything. That self is self-referential, meaning that from this point here, where I think I am, I look out at the world and I see things and I make a decision about them, and then it comes back to me. And I look over here and I see something and I make a decision about it and it comes back to me. So this self-referential just means that there's a constant loop between everything and me. There's this constant ongoing relationship between me and the world that this thing thinks it's actually at the center of. And it has the magic finger that can tell people what the right way is and what the wrong way is and what the truth is. So I just wanted to make this little video because I got a good friend that's struggling with a lot of this anger stuff coming up, and there's no need to, once you realize that it's just a sense of imagination, of opposition, life is how it is, I think it should be differently, those two things don't line up. As soon as I drop my opposition, we're done. There's no more anger. There's no more nothing. I can just say, okay, at any point in life, we can just let go of our firmly held position against stuff. We talk about our beliefs, right? Some people hold on to their beliefs so tightly. No, I believe. No, God is this. No, God is this. And it's like, this is the stuff war breaks up over. Because people can't believe that there is more to the entire universe than what they believe, right? But all of us know, right? At some point, we've come to understand that our beliefs didn't quite measure up. Like, the world was thought to be flat at one point, right? Everybody thought it was flat. Is it flat? Apparently not. Apparently it's circular. Do we go around the sun, or does the sun go around us? Apparently we go around the sun. But these were firmly held ideas and beliefs that people went to death I think it was what Galileo was almost put to death for this heretical thinking, for his way of thinking about life in the cosmos, was almost put to death. You know, back in the days of the Pharaoh, it was whatever the Pharaoh said. And, you know, back in the days of the kings was kind of like Pharaoh, and it was what they said. But now we live in a world where we can question. And I've come to find that questioning is where I find my freedom, right? Even in my own thinking, I have to think to myself, is that thought absolutely verifiably true? Let's just take the lady cuts me off, then flips me off. Lady cut me off and flipped me off. She shouldn't have done that. Okay, but did she? Well, yeah, she did, but she shouldn't have. Okay, well, let's see. Is that true? Well, it's true to a line of thinking that I'm thinking. But the actual fact of the matter is, she did it. The truth is, she moved over, she turned around, she flipped me off, and she's gone. I'm sitting over here now in my land of imaginary make-believe, and I'm having a freaking moment and a half. She's gone. She's gone through the light. She's on her way, pissing somebody else off. But I'm still stuck here in my mental obsession of anger, of what somebody did to me. That's finished. It's done. It's over with. Right? So I can question myself and say, hey, is that true? And fact of the matter is, no, it's already happened. She's done and gone. The truth is, that happened. So is it true that it shouldn't have? Well, unless I can go back and change reality, no, the truth is it happened. Okay, so then the next lesson of questioning is, well, what happens when I believe that she should have? I'm uncomfortable. I'm not happy. I'm suffering. There's this dissatisfaction. So when I believe a lie, I'm uncomfortable. So then what would happen if I actually let go of that lie? What would happen if I just believed the truth, which was, oh, she put, and then, oh, okay. What would happen is all of this tension and all this opposition, this physical manifestation of no, it just settles. It just settles. Sooner or later, it's going to settle anyway, because your mind is going to your attention is going to drift onto something else. So as long as you hold on to what you're thinking, it's going to rule you. You know, there's an expression, wherever you water your garden, it will grow. If you keep watering your anger, you keep watering your opposition, guess what's going to grow? The moment you stop watering it, dries up, withers away, and dies. And that's life. You know, whatever you believe is true. I believe it's going to be a shitty day today. I'm going to have a shitty day, and you know, and then guess what? I have a shitty day. Whatever you believe is true. So it's very important to look at where you're placing your attention. What are you believing? Right? Because a thought is just a thought, an idea, or a belief. And those are all imaginary. They don't actually exist except where? In that magical, mythical place of what's really not happening. So, anyway. Try not to get angry. And when you do, try to recognize, oh my goodness, that's not true. I can't verify that. And then get over it real quick. Take care. Bye.